Right, guys, this is another simulation for CompTIA A Core 1. You need to know the minimum requirements when you are installing Windows 11, and also you need to know the recommended requirements. They are different things, both of them. You need to know them for the exam. So we're going basically to see what kind of requirements we need, minimum and the requirement ones. If you want more simulations, I go to my Patreon page. I have a lot of simulations for Network Plus, Security Plus, and A Plus as well. The link will be under this video in the description if you're watching from YouTube, right? Okay, let's start now. Let's start with the minimum requirements when it comes to install Windows 11. So this is important because when you start IT job, if you set up some machines, you need to know what are the minimum and the recommended specifications of the PC that needs to have to run Windows 11 smoothly. So the minimum requirements, well, it is best if you can have the recommended requirements, not the minimum, because the minimum we will be able to install it, but you might experience some, slowness, etc. So let's start first with the processor. What is the minimum requirement so you can install Windows 11 on that computer? So we have four options here. This is drag and drop simulations, and basically the right answer, we are going to drag it from the left side and drop it right here under processor. So let's see the options first. We have 2 gigahertz or faster with 4 or more cores on a compatible 64-bit processor or system on a chip, SoC, or 2 GHz or faster with 2 or more cores on a compatible 64-bit processor, or 1 GHz or faster dual-core CPU, 64-bit compatible or system on a chip, or 1 GHz or faster single-core CPU, 64-bit compatible or system on a chip. So which one do you think is the minimum requirements for Windows 11? Windows 11, the minimum requirements, remember, we have 1 gigahertz and dual core, not single core. So 1 gigahertz or faster dual core CPU with 64-bit compatible. And we're basically going to drag it and drop it here, right? Moving on to the RAM. So how many gigabits of RAM we need? 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, or 16 gigabytes of RAM. That will be, for the minimum requirements, at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. Moving on to disk space, we have 128 gigabytes or larger, 128 gigabytes SSD or larger, 32 gigabytes or larger, or 64 gigabytes or larger. The right answer will be 64 GB, right? Minimum requirements. Display. We have the resolution here, 1920 by 1080, larger than 9-inch display, or 640 by 480, minimum 9-inch display screen size, or 1280 by 720 resolution and 9-inch screen or larger. And again, we have 1920 by 1080, and we have at least 12-inch or larger screen. So which one is the minimum requirements for a display? The resolution. First, let's see, the resolution will be 1280 by 720, or at least we need to have 9-inch screen. So this is going to be the right answer here. Moving on to graphics cards. So we have four options here. DirectX 10 compatible with WDDM1 driver, DirectX 12 compatible with WDDM2 driver, or dedicated GPU with DirectX 12 support, or dedicated GPU with DirectX 14 support. So which one is going to be the minimum requirements for a graphics card? DirectX 12 compatible. Where is it? With WDDM2 driver. Here. And now for internet requirement, well, we have two options here, and we have two places here. So basically both of them, we need to have them in order to install Windows 11. We need the internet for updates and activation, and we need Microsoft account required for setup on Windows 11 Home Edition. So we're going to basically drop them, both of them here. And security requirement. We need two security requirements, minimum security requirements for Windows 11. Trusted Platform Module, TPM, version 2. BitLocker encryption for added data security. Virtualization-based security must be enabled in BIOS before setup. Or UEFI firmware with secure boot enabled. So which two are the right ones in this drag and drop simulation? Well, we need Trusted Platform Module 2.0. The other one will be, come on, stay here, will be UEFI firmware with secure boot enabled. So these are all the minimum requirements. 1 GHz or faster dual-core CPU with support of 64-bit processor, at least 4 GB RAM, 64 GB disk space or larger display. This is the resolution, 9-inch screen, graphics card DirectX 12 compatible. Let me just place it right here. And yeah, just make sure you remember them. Also, you need to remember them for Windows 10 as well, yeah? So it's Windows 10 is in the exam objectives as well. So I might make another simulation and also upload it here. So let's submit here. And now we are moving to the Windows 11 recommended requirements. So with these specifications, your Windows 11 computer operating system should run smoothly. It depends what are you using it for, right? But for the normal user, it should be okay. Okay, so again, we are starting with the processor. What is the recommended requirement? Not the minimum, recommended. We have, again, 2 GHz or faster with 4 or more cores on a compatible 64-bit processor, 2 GHz or faster with 2 or more cores, 1 GHz or faster dual core, 1 GHz or faster. So basically, this 1 GHz, no point, therefore the minimum requirements. Now, of course, we will be looking for something more. And that will be 2 GHz or faster with 4 or more cores. Where is it? This one is the recommended requirements for the processor. Okay. Now moving on to the RAM, we have 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, 6 GB, 16 GB or more, and then 32 GB recommended for multitasking and gaming. And we have 8 GB or more, and then if you are multitasking or gaming, the recommended one is 16 GB. Because you might have a question on the exam, for example, what kind of the user, let's say the user will be using it for gaming, he needs this PC, how to build it, what we're going to recommend according to RAM, and this is the one, the recommended for multitasking and gaming is 16 GB, and normal user 8 GB or more. So this is the right answer here. So let me drag it here. Moving on, disk space. So we have 128 GB or larger. We have again the same size but SSD this time or larger. And we have 32 or 60 to 64 GB SSD or larger. What do you think is going to be the answer here? That will be, we're looking for with SSD here. And the recommended one is at least 128 GB. SSD or larger storage here. Now, display resolution. We have again 1920 by 1080, larger than 9-inch. We have another 1920 by 1080 resolution, but with 12-inch screen or larger. And then we have 640 by 480, minimum 9-inch screen, or 1280 by 720 resolution. 9-inch screen or larger. Well, this will be something more than the minimum requirements. So we are looking now for 9020 by 1080 resolution and larger than, not 12-inch, 9-inch. The minimum requirements for the display, they were only the resolution was different, was 1280 by 720. The recommended one is the resolution, just a little bit increased the resolution. Moving on to the graphics card. So we have again the same options. DirectX 10 compatible with WDDM1, DirectX 12 compatible with WDDM2 driver. So this one was for the minimum requirements, the DirectX 12 compatible with the 2-point driver. This one is not going to be this one, it's going to be something better than this one. And what is better? It will be something kind of dedicated GPU with DirectX 12 or 14 with 12 support. Not okay. And now we have security enhancements. So here we have 2 empty spaces, but only one is the correct. So ignore one of it. So we have BitLocker encryption for added data security or virtualization-based security must be enabled on BIOS before setup. So these are security enhancement. So we still need that security minimum requirements from the previous simulations, and we add on top of them, we add this one, BitLocker encryption for added data security. And here we go, guys. This is our simulation, drag and drop simulation for the CompTIA A Core 1. Let's submit. Everything is right. Okay, I'll be doing more simulations. Stay tuned and appreciate your support. See you on the next one.